This Sunday, we are balancing in that space between the memories of the past and the hoped for longings of the future. We call this space we currently occupy the present. But so often, we are not fully here. We are instead in our memories and in our dreams. The current moment is one that I can understand, wanting to remember or imagine our way out of. And yet, there are incredible moments happening right here before us, too. This time is one that, like times before and times yet to be, are what we piece together into the lives we live. Congregations are curious things to think about in terms of past, present, and future. They hold many pasts in collective memory. They bring together many presents into community. And they impact many futures with the legacies they create. They are one way that our reach extends beyond the years of our individual lives. The works done by this place, a generation from now, will have been made possible by those who are gathering in ways we never could have imagined right now. We are that bridge, and we are those who are creating possibilities for those who will arrive next. Maybe they arrived this very morning in our Zoom meeting, or perhaps next week. Maybe they will be joining us in a month or a year. Perhaps they will arrive in person one day after we are gathering in our sanctuary again. I want to return to a topic I've preached about before because it feels even more important to think about now. When we enter into a new place and take the risk of belonging to it, truly becoming a part of a community, it requires no small amount of trust. It also takes trust to invest our time, energy, hopes, and financial resources into a place too. Charles Feltman, in the Thin Book of Trust, defines it this way: trust is choosing to make something important to you vulnerable to the actions of someone else. And that's the scary part of trust, that it requires vulnerability in order to exist. You need to risk something in order for it to matter. And distrust, according to Feltman, is when what I've shared with you that is important to me is not safe with you. A religious community is a place that should be based in trusting relationships, because I believe that is what religion in its purest form is about. Creating places for us to practice relationships built on trust and calling us toward our higher ideals. If we can get better at being in relationship here with the people we choose over and over again to be in relationship with, we might become better at being in relationship with those we may not choose, but yet have to be in relationship with anyway. So how do we go about building these rare relationships that are trusting? Brene Brown builds on Feltman and says that when we trust, we are braving connection with someone. And she has explored the ingredients of this trusting connection with others through the acronym BRAVING, which is made up of boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and last but certainly not least, generosity. 7 ingredients, which is a number we like in religious settings. There are 7 virtues, 7 deadly sins, and we Unitarian Universalists have our 7 principles. It begins with boundaries, which is interesting if we are trying to create something that requires us to be vulnerable. But boundaries are still necessary. It is important to know what you are willing and able to offer in any relationship. And this means you need to reflect on yourself first. What do you need in order to be a good participant in relationship? What promises can you keep? The next 2 are reliability and accountability, 2 interrelated aspects of trusting relationships. To be reliable means you will do what you say you'll do over and over again. It builds up that credit in the relationship that when you say something, you mean it and will deliver. And then there is accountability, which is that when you mess up, when you fail to follow through, you admit it and apologize for it. And you allow the other people to make mistakes, apologize, and make amends too. You need reliability in between the mistakes to build a relationship strong enough to hold the mistakes and to make space for the apologies. The middle aspect, like the keystone of an arch, is vault, or the ability to keep confidences when others trust you with them, which usually happen when you've laid the foundation for a trusting relationship. You've made your personal boundaries clear. You have proven yourself to be reliable, and you've demonstrated accountability when you have made mistakes. Then you have the pieces in place to be given the gift of someone trusting you enough to keep a confidence, to be a vault for them, a safe place to keep something they need to share with you. Being able to keep a confidence also leads into the 5th aspect, integrity, which Brown defines as choosing courage over comfort, choosing what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy, and practicing your values, not just professing your values. Having this kind of integrity is about living out those values constantly in our lives, when others can see, and more importantly, when no one can see. The second to last aspect is non-judgment, which I think of as humility. We make an environment where it is okay to ask for help, to not be judged for imperfection. We understand that none of this is easy to do, but we want to try together anyway. And finally, we come to generosity, which means that we assume good intentions of those we are in relationship with. When we are wondering about something the other person has done, we ask them first, rather than jumping to conclusions. And we expect that others will do so of us in return. So there we have 7 aspects of trusting relationships: boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. Braving to live into relationships that hold all of this is not easy and not fast. It is made both easier and harder with others. Or maybe another way to think about it is that it is only necessary and only possible when in community with other people. This is the sort of space I hope we are building a container for, a place where trusting, brave relationships are more possible than in the wider world, a place where we practice these tools of connection and create the sort of institution that is here year after year to welcome those seeking such a place to belong, a place that is worthy of trust and commitment. I, for one, am so very thankful to those who have built this house for all of us, and for those who are committed to building the home of our collective futures. And I am so grateful for the community that is working to create the changes we need to be as ready as possible to welcome back our members, our children, our friends, and our future members for years to come. So may it be.